The Man with the Steel Cane. 2. The candied pork glistened on top of the 5-flavor broth. The aroma entranced Shen, but he set aside his spoon. As the waitress left, he smiled and nodded in approval. The fat had yet to melt into the broth. Doubtless, the soup was already excellent. But in a moment, the flavor would be at its peak. Patience. Shen considered the interior of the White Cliffs Inn. It was deceptively simple and rough. The wood weavers had been masters, removing the tree bark and leaving leaves only where necessary. The candle on Shen's table flickered, wrongly. He slid away from the table, retrieving his plates from under his cloak. "Your students are so quiet as a pregnant war axe," he said. Alone and dressed like a merchant, Zed entered the inn, brushing past the waitress. He sat down 3 tables away. Every part of Shen wanted to dash at his foe, to avenge his father, but such was not the way of Twilight. He calmed himself as he realized the distance was too far, even if only by the length of his index finger. Shen looked over at Zed, expecting to see him grin. Instead, his rival sighed. His skin was sallow, and dark folds hung beneath his eyes. "Years I have waited," said Shen. "Have I misjudged the distance?" Zed asked. "Even if my head is cut off, I will still close the strike," Shen continued, sliding his foot backward and cocking it against the floor. Zed was 10 paces and 1/2 of finger length away. "Your path's closer to mine. Your father's ideals were a weakness. Ionia could no longer afford them," Zed said. He leaned back in his chair, keeping himself just outside of the range Shen would need to strike a killing blow. "I know that's not something I can make you understand, but I will offer you a chance for vengeance." Shen inched forward to the edge of his chair. "I do not act because of vengeance. You defy the balance. For that, you are damned." "The golden demon escaped," said Zed simply. "Impossible," Shen replied, feeling a hollowness that caught in his chest. "Your father's greatest victory, and now again, his foolish mercy has tarnished his legacy." Zed shook his head. "You know what that thing is capable of?" Then Zed leaned over the table, well within Shen's range, his neck intentionally exposed. "And you know that we are the only 2 people who can get close enough to stop him." Shen remembered the first time he would see the body of someone killed by the infamous Khada Jhin. His skin prickled from the memory, his teeth clenched. Only his father had been strong enough to still believe a merciful justice could be served. Something in Shen had changed that day. Something in Zed had broken. Now, that monster had returned. Shen put his words on the table. He looked down at the perfect bowl of soup in front of him. Little droplets of the pork fats all shimmered on its surface. But he wasn't hungry anymore.